Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. The Miami Heat defeated the Indiana Pacers on the road 87-82 last night in a very ugly victory. Both teams shot very poorly. It was a very low scoring game. This was the lowest output the Heat have had this year in a victory with those 87 points. So it really looked like the Heat were going to blow a potential 19-point lead that they had in the first half, and also a 10-point lead within the last 10 minutes of the game. The Pacers were able to hit some big shots to bring the game back within two possessions, and the Heat had two costly turnovers in those final few minutes, as well as a few missed free throws by Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. But nonetheless, the Heat were able to bounce back from a extremely embarrassing home loss to the San Antonio Spurs. The Heat, again, shot very poorly from the field. They were just 39% as a team, and they were 27% from the three-point line, and they only had 9 three-pointers made in the game. But again, they got the victory, so happy that we got this victory against the Pacers, who are currently a playoff team. Adebayo played very well in this game. He led the Heat in scoring with 22 points on 8 of 18 shooting from the field. Great to see him put up 18 shots and continue to be aggressive. There's a few games where he slid, but good to see him put up 18 shots. He also had 17 rebounds, which was huge, and the Heat won the rebounding battle 48-45, which puts them at 9-2 when they win the rebounding battle. So really big there. Especially also very impressive because Bam was guarded by Miles Turner, who's a really good defensive player in his own right and good shot blocker. So Bam, has definitely improved his offensive repertoire this year. He's making more shots, more mid-range shots, and he had a couple impressive turnaround jumpers, and I think even one possession he had some sort of like Hakeem the Dream shake turnaround pivot move where he made a nice little jumper in the paint over Turner. So good to see Bam, get back to where he's been over the past 2 weeks. Jimmy Butler was also really great. He had a slow start, wasn't shooting too much in the first 3 quarters, but he had 20 points on 8 of 16 shooting. He scored 7 of those points in the fourth quarter during crunch time, and he had a few assists to Kyle Lowry and a few other players that were huge. Butler also collected 7 rebounds, had 5 assists and 2 steals. He only played 34 minutes, so that was good to see that we didn't need to have Jimmy play in that 40-minute range to keep him fresh for this road trip. So no one else on the Miami Heat scored in double figures, which is kind of crazy. So Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry both combined for 6 from 21 from the field, which wasn't great. Max Strus shot 3 of 12 from the field, and all of his shots literally came from the three-point range. So luckily, the Heat, did well enough with Butler and Bam carrying the load against the Pacers, who also struggled mightily offensively. Victor Oladipo played pretty decent as well. Again, just played 19 minutes. Gabe Vincent was out, so the Heat were pretty whole for this game. So Oladipo finished with 5 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds, 3 for 5 from the field. He had some really nice defensive plays and a strip on Buddy Hield late in the first quarter, and then he had a nice bounce pass, full court pass to Kyle Lowry, which led to a wide open layup. So happy to see that Oladipo is, solid on the defensive end, which is great. But the Heat definitely need someone on the bench that can lift the load, kind of like how Hero did as a sixth man last year. And so hoping that as Depot gets more games under his belt, more reps, that he can be that go-to scorer off the bench, because we've seen that Gabe Vincent and Max Strus have been pretty inconsistent off the bench. And so happy to see Vic back, on the Pacers court, where 3 years ago he had that devastating quad injury. So happy that Vic was able to come back to his home team essentially and play pretty well off the bench. So Miami Heat are going to be on the road for 3 more games, and so the Heat are now 13-15, and they are the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference. The East is pretty close outside of the Celtics and Bucks. Cavaliers are the 3 seed; they're 17-11, so the Heat are actually only 4 games outside of the 3rd seed, and they're 3 games from the 4th seed, and only a game and a half back from the 5th seed. So, as bad as the Heat have been playing this year, or as inconsistent as they have been, the Heat are still within striking distance of home court advantage, in the playoffs. So I still think this Heat team, just outside of just shooting better and having, their bench players step up, I still think they need to make a move in order to make an impact and to potentially become a contender. So I still don't see them as a contender thus far, the way they've been playing this year. I still see them as probably now back to that 6 to 8 range. I think we need to make a move for a stretch 4, maybe get rid of that horrible Duncan Robinson contract, and make some moves January 15th and add to our depth. And if we do that, I think then the Heat, if they get their act together and start playing better offensively as a team and then defensively step up, then who knows? Maybe we can be a contender again this season. So let's see. The Heat's next game is going to be against the Thunder tomorrow on the road, and then they play the Rockets, the Spurs, the Bulls, and the Pacers again. So again, like I've said in a past video, they have a pretty easy schedule, I would say. They should get a victory against the Thunder, the Rockets, and the Spurs. So hopefully the Heat can get on a 4-game winning streak and go 2 games above 500 and move up in the standings. So I'm optimistic again. This has been a roller coaster ride. I guess my faith in the team has been inconsistent, just as the play has been for the Miami Heat. So we'll see. So hopefully we could string together a few road victories. We haven't been too great on the road. We don't do too great against really young athletic teams as well that we should be beating, just like the Spurs a few nights ago. So Thunder, Rockets, and Spurs are 3 of the youngest teams in the NBA, but also they're 3 of the worst teams in the NBA. So I'm optimistic that we'll win 2 out of 3, hoping that we win 3 out of 3 so we can have a 4-game win streak, and take that win streak to a 5-game homestand against, again, Bulls, Pacers, T-Wolves, and Lakers. We're not playing any great teams for a while until we play the Nuggets on December 30th. So let's ride this streak, let's get some road victories, and let's get back on track and bounce back. So thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see you soon.